The real reason why your voice breaks when you try to sing high notes, and how can you fix it the real way. Now first, before I even continue, go ahead, comment down in the comments section. What do you think is the reason why your voice breaks? Now, pause the video first, go ahead, comment down below, don't cheat. Now, most people, they'll be commenting things like, oh, I don't have enough breath support, that's why my voice break. Oh, my vocal cords are not strong enough, that's why my voice break. Oh, I'm not taking enough air, I haven't found a mixed voice, my chest voice is too heavy, I haven't practiced enough vocal exercises, I haven't practiced the right type of vocal exercise. So many different kind of reasons. Now, by the end of this video, you will understand what is the real reason.
What?
Yes, I'm talking about the real reason, because every other reason that I've just mentioned, they are nothing more than a mere distraction. They are nothing more than a result of your problem. It is not a cause. The root cause does not lie in any of whatever reasons that I've mentioned above. And when you do realize the real reason why your high notes break, why your voice break when you're singing high notes, you realize that in order for you to keep your high notes connected and not breaking in your mixed voice, in your full voice, in your belt voice, it is actually easier and simpler than you thought, as long as you can understand this one concept that I'm about to share with you next. Hey, it's JJ here, and if this is your first time watching my videos, what I do is I help singers like you unlock your high notes fast by showing you how you can access your high complete mixed voice vocal placement. So if that sounds like you, go ahead, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get started. Now, why do I say that all those problems are not the real problem? Very simply, we can take any one of them. If let's say we take the example of your voice is breaking because you're bringing up too much chest voice. Okay, why so? Let's ask ourselves, why is it that I bring too much weight of the chest voice up, my voice break? Because you want to stay in your chest voice as you go higher. Now, the next question then becomes, then why are you staying in your chest voice? Simple, because you don't want your voice to break. Because if you let go of the chest voice, what happens? Your voice breaks. You have to hold on to a chest voice. But eventually, you'll still break when you reach a certain high note in your vocal range.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
Now, let's go a bit deeper. Why is it that there's a break? Because you have chest voice and then you have falsetto voice. Now, what if, let's say now, we remove chest voice, we remove falsetto voice, we only want to have one connected voice. Have you ever heard of the term mixed voice? Yeah? So, what if from the lowest note in our vocal range to the highest note in our vocal range, everything is all mixed voice? Then will we still feel like we need to release that weight of the chest voice? If I don't even have chest voice to begin with, if I only have a low mixed voice instead of the chest voice, how would I sound like as I go through my passaggio? Have a listen. Go, 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 go. Can you see that it is one very connected voice? Go, 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 go. Because why? When I'm at G4 and when I'm at G3, everything is mixed. Everything. I have no chest voice, I have no falsetto, everything is mixed. Complete mixed voice. But how do you achieve that? Now that brings me to the real reason. The real reason you see why your voice break is because you're stuck in a low placement. What do I mean? Whenever you're stuck in a low placement, you'll always be having a very heavy and stubborn chest voice. Can you hear that right now when I'm talking to you? I sound very clear. My so-called chest voice is not heavy, it is not stubborn, it is very flexible. You can hear me clearly because the truth is I'm not actually talking a chest voice. I'm talking in a mixed voice, or more specifically, it is a low mixed voice. Now, how do I define low mixed voice? Anything that's below a E4 for a guy is a low mixed voice. Anything below a G4 for a lady is a low mixed voice. And if you can understand this clearly, low mixed voice, high mixed voice, they are both mixed voice. The only difference is one is above the passaggio and one is below the passaggio. And why is this important? Because when you understand how can I produce all these low and high mixed voice, you realize that the key is actually to keep everything in this high complete mixed voice vocal placement. Because the moment you are in your low placement is where chest voice resides in. But the moment you can switch to a high placement, a high complete mixed voice vocal placement, and you keep both your low mixed voice and your high mixed voice in this high placement, then guess what? You will be able to achieve whatever I've just shown you. Going through your break without any change in the tone, in the breaks, nothing. Now, if you go a bit deeper here, why is it that the low placement our voice breaks? It's simple, because think about it this way. Have you ever tried jumping on a hard surface before and then also jumping on a soft surface? Now, which one can you jump higher on? Well, the answer is simple. If you have tried jumping on both before, you know from experience that the concrete floor allows you to jump higher. And when you're jumping on the sand, on the beach, you jump less high. Now, let's think about how can we apply this to our high placement and our low placement when it comes to singing high notes. You see, the low placement, it is a weak support point. It is like the sand, like the mud. Whereas the high complete mixed voice vocal placement, it is like the concrete floor. It allows you to jump higher. Because in order for us to sing a high note that is resonant, we need to form a standing wave. And this standing wave, it needs a strong support point. In this case, this high placement is the strong support point. Just like the concrete floor, you can jump higher on. Likewise, the low placement, it is very soft, very weak. What do I mean? The low placement is the tongue. This area here, it is very weak and soft. Whereas the high placement, if you can understand, it is at the walls of your pharynx, where your backbone and your skull, their hard surfaces, they can support the sound. And that is where a high placement is resided at. And as a result, the real reason why our voice breaks is because you're trying to form standing waves. On what? On the tongue. That's why sometimes when you sing higher, do you feel like your tongue is being put back? So same thing here. Instead of doing goo 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 goo, you end up doing go 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 oh, oh. And then you can feel your tongue being put back. The reason why that happens is because your tongue is being put back. The energy is trying to latch onto the tongue, and hence the low placement is the real reason why our voice breaks. Because guess what? When your tongue is being put back, your throat closes up because your tongue takes up a position behind. And when your tongue takes up the place, the area, the space in your throat, in your pharynx, then guess what happens? The sound wave can no longer go up to the walls of the pharynx to form that standing wave. So you see, the real problem here is really your resonance, your standing wave. Are you allowing your resonance to resonate here or up behind? Then the question becomes, now that we know that the resonance is the problem, in fact, why the resonance is the problem is because if you haven't watched my video on soft palate, go ahead and watch that video. But in that video, what I tell you is, I did an experiment there to show you what happens and how can a resonance feed back to our vocal cords to destabilize our vocal tract, which then causes our vocal cords to get blown apart, which is why our voice breaks. At a muscular level, when our voice breaks, our vocal cords comes apart. It's as simple as that. So, if we understand that the resonance is the real problem, then we have to change the resonance. Then the question becomes, how do we change the resonance? By changing the placement, the high complete mixed voice vocal placement, simply by taking away our low placement and switching to this high complete mixed voice vocal placement. I've said this many times. All of our problems, if not at least 90% of the problems that you have when it comes to singing high notes, it is because you haven't accessed your high placement and that you're still stuck in your low placement. The moment you can ditch your low placement and truly switch to this high complete mixed voice vocal placement, then you will see tremendous improvements to your singing. And you see, most of the time we are led to believe that, oh, we have to practice for years and years and years before you're able to sing well. I call that bullshit. Now look, there's nothing wrong with practice. In fact, I advocate practice. If you don't practice, you wouldn't improve, period.
And that's a fact.
But practicing doesn't equate to a long time. I think that is a clear distinction that we have to draw here. You can practice a lot and consistently within a shorter period of time, and yet you can see more results than just practicing like a headless chicken in your low placement for years and years on end. But of course, seeing fast improvements, it is only possible if you've accessed your high placement. Because if you don't access your high placement or practice, it goes to waste, period. The reason why people say, oh, I took a long time to learn how to sing, it took a long time to be able to sing well, is because they took a long time to figure out how to access this high placement. Because everyone who can sing well, there is nobody who can sing well and they don't have their high placement. It is not possible. That's why when I listen to people say, oh, it took me a long time to sing well, what I really mean is it took them a fucking long time to find their high placement and to strengthen their high placement. And often we take our life experiences and what we have experienced in life, and then we take it as a truth, and then we try to shove it down other people's throat.
Stop it. Get some help.
That's why I believe that a true mentor, a true coach, should not be shoving his or her own experiences into a student's throat. In fact, what I believe is that this coach should enter the student's world and see from a student's perspective what he or she is missing, why he or she cannot access her high or his high placement. Okay, putting that aside, back to the idea of resonance and how by changing the placement, you are going to prevent your voice from breaking. You first have to access and find your high, complete, mixed voice vocal placement. And like I said, you'll solve most of your vocal problems. And if this is your first time watching my videos and you're thinking, is this guy for real? Is fixing high notes really such a simple thing? Then go ahead, watch my 3.5 years singing transformation video, and I'll put the video in the cards. So I hope that this video helps you understand the real reason why your voice is breaking and what you need to do to solve it fast. Because the traditional method of trying to train chest voice for a few years and then train falsetto and head voice for a few years and then spend another few years to try to smoothen it out, it takes too much time, it takes way too much effort, and only if you're lucky enough you'll be able to access your high placement. Why not we go to the source? We go right to the source, which is the high, complete, mixed voice vocal placement. We stop trying to do the traditional way of, oh, sing chest voice, sing head voice, and then try to balance them, try to blend them as years passes by. Nope, we do it fast. I do it fast here by first accessing the right placement, and then when I'm at a right placement, I keep your low mixed voice or high mixed voice, everything inside there. No chest voice, zero chest voice, everything is low mixed voice and high mixed voice. Does that make sense? So if this video helps you identify the real problem, and if you think that the high placement is the real solution to the problem that you're currently facing, then go ahead, like this video now and share it with other people who you think needs to watch this video as well. And once again, if you want to learn how you can access your high, complete, mixed voice vocal placement, then follow the link down below and let's get started to help you access that holy high placement. Hey, I've got to go now and I'll catch you again in another video.